Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. So since my last video, which got quite a good response, so thank you for that, I've had quite a few people ask me to do a sort of makeup tutorial on a particular look I did on Instagram, which was like a brown sort of smoky eye, which I'm really into at the moment and I seem to be doing a lot of, so I thought I'd share that with you today. So I'm going to go through my whole makeup routine. The steps is the same pretty much for every makeup look I do. I just change my eyeshadow sometimes, and this look doesn't include a wing liner, but it could well do if you wanted to. But for me, winged eyeliner takes a little bit of time for me to actually get right. Some days it's like great, done in one go, but it doesn't always work out that way. So I'm not doing a winged eyeliner, but I hope this helps you guys and I hope this is useful to you. So before we start, I just want to mention that I am in the process of changing all my makeup products to cruelty free. It's something that I've been more aware of in the last year, to be more conscious of, because I believe that in this day and age, in 2018, there's so many makeup brands out there that aren't cruelty free and that are cruelty free. So I don't understand why all the brands, the big brands it seems to be, are not cruelty free when they could well be cruelty free. If you have any questions at all, I recommend going to crueltyfreekitty.com. That's where I go to look at which brand is and isn't, and new beauty products that have come out, and it's a really good website. There are lots of like confusing sort of brands out there that claim to be cruelty free but their parent company isn't. So for example, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, Too Faced claim to be cruelty free. The brand themselves are cruelty free, but their parent company, which is Estee Lauder now, they are not cruelty free. So I suppose it's the parent company that funds the other company. It's all very confusing, but so there aren't companies that are like completely cruelty free, and then there's some companies that sell to China, and China has to by law test on animals if like external products are being sold to the country. So any brand that sells to China isn't completely cruelty free, unfortunately. As I say, I'm going to be changing all my makeup products to cruelty free. I'm halfway there, I think. A lot of my products are, but there's still some that aren't. I'd love to be able to change it all in one go, but for me, makeup's quite an important thing, and I want to make sure I get the right product for me that will suit me. And I spend a lot of time researching, and I do like to go for slightly more expensive brands. I don't know why that is, that's just what I like. So I know what I like and I stick with it. So it would be far too much money for me to be able to just change it all just like that. So I'm gradually, once things run out, I start to replace them with something that is cruelty free. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is prime my face. And I use the Benefit Professional Primer to minimise my pores. I really like this primer, but Benefit are no longer cruelty free, I believe. Again, I'm not going to go into this too much, but it gets a bit confusing. So I'm just going to rub that between my fingers, and then I just go in where my pores are, so here, and I stretch my skin out so it will all go in the pores and fill them. And I also make sure I moisturise my face before putting on any makeup as well, because I do get quite dry skin. So the next thing I'm going to do is apply my foundation. So this doesn't look very nice because I've lost the cap, but I do really like this. It's called Matte Moisture Skin Tint from Jouer. Jouer are an indie brand and they are cruelty free, and I bought this for going to Vegas in LA this year. But this is the shade Porcelain and it's slightly too dark for me, and it's the lighter shade. I always have this problem, I'm too pale. So what I do with this, I mix it. It's quite a sheer foundation, which I quite like at the moment. But I mix it with this Lancome foundation, which I can't pronounce because it's all in French and I just can't do it. But Lancome are not cruelty free, annoyingly. and it's in a really nice light shade, so I do mix the two together just to lighten it. So I just put that on the back of my hand, like so, and I just mix that together and just pop it on my face. I just spot it on my face and then I'll blend it all together with a brush in a minute. So I am looking for a new foundation to replace my Lancome one, and it's really hard for me because, as I say, I am pale and I want to make sure I buy the right colour and that it suits my skin type. I'm just going to take my Morphe Y6 foundation brush here and just take the excess off the back of my hand. I also like to use a beauty sponge, which unfortunately my cat has been attacking in the middle of the night and I can't use this anymore, which is really annoying. I really like the beauty sponge to blend my concealer, so I'll just have to use a brush today, which is really annoying. So I just blend that all together. But yeah, as I say, I am looking for a new foundation and I do like to get a sample, and the ones that I'm into are online in the UK, so I'm going to have to try and find an actual sample to try before I actually purchase it. Okay, so now I've done my foundation, I'm going to conceal, and I also like to highlight with my concealer as well, so I don't just put it under my eyes, I put it a little bit of everywhere. So the two that I like is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, which is cruelty free, and this one, I don't know if it is cruelty free, but it's the Tarte it's the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and it's really full coverage. So I'm trying to decide which one I want today. I think I'm going to go for the Naked Skin Concealer today. So what I do with this, I'll put it under my eyes, so highlight under my eyes. So yeah, I just highlight under my eyes, the bridge of my nose, centre of my forehead and my chin as well, just to bring some light to those areas. And what I would do is use a damp beauty sponge to buff that all in, but as I say, my cat has attacked it and it's been dragged all over the house. It's now covered in hair and teeth marks, so I can't use it, and it's my only beauty sponge, which is really annoying. I really like this one. I bought this from Morphe in the States. And it's the only beauty sponge I've really liked. I've used lots of different ones before. So today I'm going to be using my foundation brush to blend that in. Bloody cat. Yeah, I really like Morphe. Their brushes are really good. As I say, I really like their beauty sponge. I'll have to buy another one because it's quite inexpensive. I think this was like $8 or something. Compared to like an actual beauty blender, which is like £20. You know, that's definitely more in my price range. I don't want to spend 20 quid on a sponge. Morphe I really like, and I had some good news, or I saw some good news on the internet, because they're actually coming to the UK. They're opening a couple of stores, so I don't have to go to the States every time to actually go to the shop, and they've got an online website on like morphe.co.uk now or something, or Morphe UK, which is so much better than having to buy through the States. So I'm really happy with that. So it's going to be so much easier for me to replace that sponge. Okay, so that's all blended in now. So what I would do next is something called baking. Again, would need the sponge to do it properly, but it's essentially taking a damp sponge, putting in some translucent powder, like putting loads of powder under your eyes, and what that does, the concealer sort of warms up underneath and it sort of melts into your skin a bit more, and it makes it look really smooth, which I really like. But I can't do that with my sponge today, so I'll just have to take loads on my powder brush and just put it under my eye. I'm really annoyed about that. I can't believe my cat bloody did that. Oh my god, that's a lot of powder in there. Okay, this is where it goes everywhere. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. also put that where I put that concealer as well. So with the rest that's on my brush, I'm just going to dust it all over my face to set the rest of that foundation. Just going to leave that powder under my eyes to sort of set. So what I'm going to do next is fill in my eyebrows. So this is going to be really hard to replace because this is from Benefit. It's the Precisely My Brow Pencil, and it's the only brow pencil I've really liked, and it really does the job for me. So I'll be looking for a new one of these when I've run out. So what I like to do, basically my arch is in the wrong place on my eyebrow, I've been told, and I can see it myself from going to get my eyebrows waxed. So my arch should be here, but it's actually here. So what I do, I just fill in the top of my brow there to make it arch a bit more. Everyone has a different brow type and brow shape, but this is how I do mine. And I will start by lining under the bottom of my brow and then filling in from there. Oh, if I can get the product to come out. So I just brush all my hairs up to begin with, and then draw a line underneath. At the beginning of my brow it's quite pointed, which I don't like, so I like to try and square it off as much as I can. And it doesn't matter too much if I make any mistakes, because I'll be going in with the concealer around the edge afterwards as well. And then I just brush through the product through my brow. And now let's do the same on the other side. Okay, so now I've done that, as I say, I'm going to conceal around the outside to make it all smooth and clean and correct any mistakes I may have made. Now where is it? So I just put a bit of concealer on the back of my hand and take, this was a brush from the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, but I really like the end of the brush. It's a bit gross at the moment because it's covered in concealer from doing this. I like the end to just precisely go around the edge of the brow. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm just going to blend that with my foundation brush again. Just on the edge of the brush. I would normally use my beauty sponge to buff it all in, but obviously can't use that today. So I'm just going to use the edge of that foundation brush to blend that concealer in. There's stupid hair in the way now. Go away. Cool, just like that. So I'm just going to finish with the brow. This is a tinted brow gel, which is cruelty free because it says on the pack cruelty free, but I don't actually know who it's from, but I did get it from my Birchbox. So I'm just going to use that just to give my brow a little bit more colour. Oh, stupid hair in the way. There we go. And it just sort of fills in the brow a bit more and gives it a bit more like volume, I suppose. And it sets the brow hairs in place so they won't move as well. So now I'm just going to finish with my face. So I'm just going to dust away the powder that I put under my eyes, as it should have now set that concealer. I'm just going to set the brows with the powder as well so the concealer doesn't move. Okay, now what I'm going to do is bronze and put a bit of blush on as well. So again, I used to really love Benefit, and I do still really love Benefit, but I just can't use them anymore because of the cruelty free thing. Really annoying. But I am going to use the two bronzes in this palette. This is the Cheek Parade palette. I like Hoola Light mixed with a little bit of Hoola because I'm quite pale. If I use Hoola just by itself, then it's a bit harsh. and I need to put a bit more colour back in my face. So what I do, I go in like a 3 motion around my cheek, from forehead to cheek to jaw, and sort of buff that colour in. I don't like it too hard. I don't want to be too bronze because it would just look strange in my skin tone. Like that. And then I'm going to take my blush brush, and I like Dandelion and I like California, and I'm going to go with California today, I think. And instead of sweeping it onto my cheeks, I like to pat it on and then sweep after, because I think that gives you a little bit more colour payoff. These blushes are quite buildable. You don't just put a load of colour on and you look like a clown straight away, which is really nice. It allows you just to build up the colour, which is what I am doing. So now I've zoomed you in, we can do my eyes. So the first thing I like to do, I put a little bit of concealer on my eyelid to prime, and then I use a white shade to set that in place. You can get eye primers or eyelid primers, but I don't really like them too much because I find they're quite sticky, and I find a concealer works just as well, and it gives you a really smooth base to build up all your eyeshadows. So the shade I always go for is in the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette, and it's the shade Divinity in this corner here. So I just take it on a brush, any brush, and just sort of sweep that on the lid. The Too Faced Chocolate Bonbon palette, or the Too Faced Chocolate palette, all smell of chocolate, and I think I've just got some powder in my mouth because it tastes like chocolate too. I never knew that, but there we go. Learning things today. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm going to go into my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. I really like this palette and I really love Jaclyn Hill. She's the lady that I got this tutorial from, and I kind of just, I've put my own spin on it really, and I use the colours that I want to use, but it's the same technique. So the first thing I'm going to do is take, it's quite messy because I use it all the time. I'm going to take the third shade in the palette, which is quite a light beigey colour, and what I'm going to do is build up the colours. So I like to go from light to dark, inner corner to outer corner, and light to dark, upper to lower as well. So I just put a transition colour in the crease, which is between your eyelid and your brow bone here. So I'm just going to really lightly, with my fluffy brush, this is Morphe M441. I really love this brush. I bought this when I was in the States too, and it's really changed my eyeshadow game really. So yeah, I'm using really light motions with my hand, sweeping the colour on and then buffing it out in circular motions. Now before I go any further, I've just remembered the other thing I like to do before I do my eyeshadow, which I will quickly do, I put some of that translucent powder in like a line, just under, just sort of along the eye, so it doesn't, the shadow doesn't fall down and you don't get a weird like uneven blend on each eye. So again, I would use a sponge, but I don't have a sponge to use. I'm just going to use my powder brush. I'm just going to squeeze it so it's got a good line and press that on. Just like that. I hope you can see what I mean. And on the other eye. Right, back to it. So I'm just going to blend on the other eye as well with that same colour. Sweeping it on. And then blending it in circular motions really gently. And what you should do is take a little bit of colour at a time and build it up, rather than putting a load of colour on and then having real difficulty blending it out. Just really gradually building until you're happy. And the next colour I'm going to take is the one below, so this slightly darker colour here, and I'm going to go slightly lower, just below where I placed that colour before, more on the lid, and sort of just dust it mainly over the lid, but into that previous colour as well. Same motion, sweeping it on, and then circular motions to buff it all together. And if you make any mistakes, or if you feel like the line is too harsh on your eye and you want to blend a bit more, you can go back in with this fluffy brush later and blend it all together with no extra product on the brush. So the next thing I'm going to do is take a smaller brush. Where are you? So this is like a smaller crease brush. This is the Morphe M506. Again, I think I bought this in the States. And I'm going to go into, I can either go into like a more of a brownie shade, or I can go into a more of a reddy shade. Today I think I'm going to go for the reddy shade. I'm just going to tap that on my brush. And what I'm now going to do is work on the outer corner of my eye. So you call it sort of the outer V. So this bit here. I'm just going to really lightly put the colour on and work it into the crease a bit more as well. As I say, we're going from light to dark, inner to outer. I'm working that into the crease. So I begin by patting the colour on and then working it into the areas that I want it to go. So now I'm going to go a little bit darker. I'm going to go to this like chocolatey brown down here and just do the same thing really and blend that over the top just to make it a little bit more dark and give it a bit more depth as well. Okay, and now I'm just going to blend with that fluffy brush again, swipe off any excess on the brush, and I'm just going to blend those colours into the crease again, just so there's no harsh lines. Just like that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I do it in a bit of a strange order. I like to use a pencil brush for this next step. I do have two, but I can't find the other one at the moment. So I'm going to multitask with this one brush. I like to use it to sort of apply darker colour to my lower lash line and also on the upper lash line a little bit as well, which I'll show you in a minute. But I also like to do inner corner highlight. And this is a really good brush for it. What I don't want to do is put the dark colour on first and then put their inner highlight on, because I'll get dark colour on the inner corner of my eye, which is what I don't want at all. But this sort of trick, I suppose, is really good to make you seem more awake. I'm always tired, so this is really good for me. I really like this trick. So what I'm going to do is take this brush and tap into these two colours at the beginning of the palette. And then I'm going to put it in the inner corner of my eye. And what I also like to do is, if you can see, it's instantly brighter. But what I also like to do is bring it to the beginning of the eyelid as well. A bit more on. And then it is a nice gradient from light to dark, which I really like. And again, on the other side. Really makes your eyes look a lot more awake, which is really cool. Power of makeup. Okay, now I've done that, I can go back in with a darker colour. I'm just going to wipe off that highlight on that brush. So I'm going to apply a darker colour to the upper lash line first. And I'm going to go in with this shade here, I think. And just really gently, as close as I can to the lash line, tap it along. Because I'm not wearing an eyeliner, I do like to define the lash line a little bit as well. So you can use eyeshadow to do that. And I'm only applying this to the outer part of my eye. So that from the middle of the eye to the outer part. And yeah, it does look a bit harsh right now, but I will be going in with that fluffy brush again to blend that line. Not on the other eye. So I'm just going to blend that. And now what I'm going to do is apply some of the darker colours I used on my upper lid onto the lower lid. So I'm going to use that chocolatey brown again and just run that along the lower lash line. Mainly focusing on that outer corner again, because you kind of want to mirror what you did on the upper lid onto the lash line. Taking that really dark shade again, just very carefully applying that onto the very outer part of the eye. Okay, I think we're done with the eyes. I'm going to brush away that powder that I put on the outer bit. That's really handy to catch any fallout as well, so you don't have weird speckles under your eyes. So next I'm going to apply some highlighter. So I really like highlighter, and this is kind of why I like more modern makeup styles. I find sort of 1940s, 1950s styles to be a little bit not as exciting. And you can incorporate modern makeup into your vintage or my vintage style anyway, but I do like a good highlighter. I have two brushes, one of which I can't find at the moment. I have a Morphe brush again that I bought in the States, which is like quite a big highlighter brush, and it applies colour really like densely, I suppose, so you get a really strong highlight, which I like for like night looks, evening looks. But for a daytime look, I like to use a fan brush. It's a little bit more subtle, but you can build it up. And what I actually really like doing at the moment is using the highlighter shades that I use in my inner corner for my cheekbones. But I also like using this shade here, this pinky frosty shade. Let's see if I can show you. Because it mixes in with my blush a little bit and it's really reflective. Sometimes I'll also use the shade in the chocolate bonbon palette, the satin sheet shade, which is very similar. It's a little bit lighter though, it's a little bit more golden, but they're really reflective and I think they're really pretty. But I'm going to use that pinky shade and just using my fan brush just to pick some up, and then mixing that in with the two lighter shades as well. I'm just going to put that on my cheek. Really gently. And on this side too. You can see it, yeah, looks good. And then I just use the two lighter shades again just to highlight my Cupid's bow. Makes your lips look a little bit fuller. And then tip of my nose, and then just above the eyebrow a little bit as well. Actually, that's just reminded me, I also like to highlight my brow bone, again using those two lighter shades on a fluffier brush. This is just from H&M, and I just very gently apply a little bit of highlighter to my brow bone, because it makes the appearance of everything being lifted, which is what we want. Don't want anything falling down. And I've missed a step, I can't believe that. So the next thing I'm going to do is apply my mascara. This is definitely not cruelty free. I have no idea why I picked this up, but I heard lots of good things about it. It's the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara. I picked it up in the States. I think there's a similar one over here, but L'Oreal are definitely not cruelty free. But I do like this mascara, sadly. It's a dark brown mascara shade, so just run that through my lashes. I normally do this before the highlighter, but I got carried away and completely forgot about it. And I just wiggle this through the lashes so it doesn't clump. and it evenly coats. So I'm now going to do my lips, and then we're going to set everything with a setting spray. You can do any sort of lipstick look with this. I used this really deep red shade the other day. This is by Body Shop, called Tahiti Hibiscus. I bought this the other day and I really like it. I also bought the shade Goa Magnolia, which was like this really nice plummy purpley shade. That was really pretty. But today I'm going out with my friends and I don't want anything too bold, so I'm going to use this shade called Nairobi Camellia? Whatever that one is, have a look. It's by Body Shop, and Body Shop are definitely cruelty free. I think the parent brand is now cruelty free because I don't think it was previously, but it is now. And this is the matte lip liquid, as I say, in the shade Nairobi Camellia. And what I'm going to do first is just line my lips quickly with, this is a Rimmel London lip liner, but Rimmel London are not cruelty free and I need to buy some new lip pencils. So I'm just going to line. You probably can't see because this is a nude shade. It does help to moisturise your lips first, which I forgot to do. So now I'm just going to fill in my lips with this pinky shade. And these smell amazing. Kind of like bananas? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Okay, so now that colour's on, we've finished makeup look. So the last thing to do is to set it all in place with the setting spray to make sure it stays for as long as possible. I do like the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, but I also like this one from Morphe. Again, I bought this in the States, but this mister is amazing. It's so fine, I really love it. And what I do like to do with my setting sprays is to fan them once they're on my face to help them dry evenly. Sometimes they can dry a bit blotchy, but it certainly helps to spray and then fan your face as well. So that's what we're going to do. So, and this smells really nice too. I do have a fan somewhere. I should probably find it for this very reason. So that's my current go-to makeup look. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please let me know if there's anything else that you might want to see me do. I'm looking to do a few more YouTube videos, just because it's a little bit easier to explain things and maybe to write things down. But I am a writer first and foremost. I love my blog and I love to write. But I also love to help people, so if there's anything that you want me to do, please let me know. And please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also to my blog at www.anchorsandswallows.wordpress.com. I do post weekly normally. I haven't been as frequent recently because of general things going on, but I'm hoping to get back into my routine, so please watch out for any new posts I might be doing. So I hope you enjoyed watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!